Welcome to Marvelous Designer Tutorial Series. In this tutorial, you will learn how to quickly create a garment using the modular configurator. You will also learn how to dress different size avatars. This time, let's modify the modular configurator t-shirt to a dress. For those using 9.5 and up, we have grouped more tools for a cleaner user interface. Please, long press the left mouse button on the tool to view a list of all the tools in the tool group. In order to fit the garment to my character, I will use the arrangement point. First, let's load the required clothing block from Modular Configurator. The outfit we're going to make is Halter Neck style, and I'm going to use Reglan t-shirt. As this will be sleeveless design, I will close the Modular Configurator window without choosing sleeve. The module structure of the 2D pattern window is no longer needed, so I will just delete it. Delete the unnecessary patterns. Patterns imported from Modular Configurator have a light blue border. These are symmetrical patterns, which have two outline highlight colors. In this way, the symmetric patterns with sewing have blue outline, and the patterns without sewing are displayed in light blue. So you can see the block patterns imported from the modular configurator are symmetric patterns without sewing. Now we will convert the symmetric patterns without sewing back into symmetric patterns with sewing. Now let's modify the shirt patterns to symmetric patterns that include sewing. Ctrl+A to select the entire pattern. Right-click on the selected pattern and select Remove Link to Editing. Ctrl+A selects the entire pattern to reconnect them as symmetric patterns. Right-click on the selected pattern and select the Symmetric Pattern with Sewing menu of Apply Linked Editing. At this time, if there is a part of the selected patterns that are not completely symmetrical in shape, the following pop-up pops up, and the patterns are not connected to symmetric. Some patterns cannot be symmetrized. Symmetrization can only be applied to mirrored patterns. Patterns that are not connected to symmetric are duplicated after deleting one pattern. Delete one stand color pattern. Duplicate one pattern to another. Right-click on the pattern and select the symmetric pattern with sewing. Menu under Clone Pattern with Linked Editing. Open the library window and load your avatar. First, let's simulate the garment after adjusting the position of the clothes. However, simple clothes like this can be dressed just by simulation. But there are many cases, so I'll arrange them again. Undo and go to the previous step to simulate. If the gizmo doesn't appear in world coordinate like me, you can change the type of gizmo from the gizmo menu by right-clicking on the background. On the Show Avatars menu in the 3D window, turn on Show Arrangement Point. Arrangement Point with gray borders are symmetric arrangement point. If you place one symmetric pattern, the other connected patterns are also placed at the opposite symmetric arrangement point. Click on the arrangement point with the mouse and it will be highlighted in yellow, and the arrangement point connected by symmetric will be highlighted in sky blue. Select the pattern and click on the arrangement point to place the garment around the avatar. For color patterns, adjust the Arrangement Offset menu in the Property window to make it closer to the neck. Layout attributes are only available for patterns placed using a layout plate. Sew the front of the collar with the segment sewing tool in the 3D window. Use the segment sewing tool to sew the rear center of the collar pattern. Use the Transform Pattern tool to delete unwanted internal lines of the collar pattern. Right-click on the front center line of the collar pattern and use the Cut menu to cut out the unnecessary parts. Select the deleted pattern and delete it by pressing Delete key. Segment Sewing Tools sews the front centers together. All round the pointed front of collar. Edit points using the Edit Pattern tool and the Edit Curve Point tool. The important thing is that the upper and lower lines connected to collar's front center should be perpendicular to each other. If the connection part is right angle, the connected patterns will be connected naturally. To delete unnecessary baselines, select with the Trace tool and delete with the Delete key. Clicking a segment selects only one segment, but double-clicking selects all segments connected to the segment. Or drag select it and delete. Let's talk about baseline. When you load the garments from the modular configurator, or use certain features of the program, you will see a blue thin line. It is called baseline. Unlike internal line or pattern outline, it could not be selected by Transform Pattern or Edit Pattern tool. The purpose of this line is just to mark rather than using it as an object. Displays a point or internal line when the pattern is moved from the existing position. Let's see how to change the internal lines to baseline. However, it is not possible to convert the baseline back into the selection, inner shape, with the Edit Pattern and Transform Pattern tools. Baselines can only be selected and deleted in the Trace tool. Let's modify the neckline. To make the square of the rectangle triangular, select the corner point with the Edit Pattern tool and delete it. Let's modify the overall silhouette of the garment. When modifying the clothing's fit, you usually do the following. 1. Modify the width of the garment. Modify the width to fit around the avatar. 2. Modify the length of the garment. It is convenient to modify the length only when the width is modified first. If the outfit is too tight for the avatar, it can be difficult to simulate the outfit when modifying its length. Select the Transform Pattern tool and drag to select the entire pattern. Drag the horizontal adjuster to increase the width. If you increase a lot at once when simulating in the 3D window, the clothes sometimes get tangled. Therefore, when increasing the width, you need to increase it little by little to make stable simulation. Check how fit your 3D outfit is. Increase the width of the pattern a little bit more in the 2D window. Check Fit by simulating. Let's increase the length of the garment. Select the bottom line of the front and back half pattern with the Edit Pattern tool. Refer to the avatar's shadow and extend it to the desired length. The width of the clothes is increased a little, but you can increase the length at once. In the case of horizontal, there are many overlapping patterns. In the case of length, it is okay to increase it at once because there are few overlapping parts. But if it's more complicated than the garment and the patterns overlap, it's better to increase it slightly. I checked the overall fit, and it seems like the width of the hip is small, so I'll increase the overall width again. Select the Distribute Horizontally menu. Simulate to see the full fit. The color pattern seems to be a bit bigger, so I'll fix it so that it fits tightly on the neck. Let's modify the armhole line. You can modify the outline of the pattern in the 2D window, but this time you will draw a line to be created directly by referring to the avatar shape in the 3D window, and then cut out the pattern. Select the Line 3D Pattern tool from the 3D toolbar. Select the Edit Line 3D Pattern tool from the 3D toolbar and press Ctrl+A to select the entire line. The Marvelous Designer's tools have one thing in common. If you press Ctrl+A on the object created by the tool type in the Edit tool of the tool group, only the object of the tool can be selected at once. Right-click on the selected line. The Cut, Cut and Sew menus are at the top and at the bottom of the pop-up. The menu at the top applies only to the pattern with the corresponding line. So if you use this menu in a symmetric pattern, the cut and sew will be applied as the symmetric is broken. To apply to all symmetric patterns, you can use cut and sew from the symmetric menu group at the bottom. Since we are going to apply all of the symmetric patterns, click on the cut menu in the lower symmetric menu group. Select Move tool from 3D toolbar to select and delete cut patterns. In the 2D pattern window, clean the smooth armhole lines using the Smooth Curve tool. In the 3D window, the armhole end of the side line remains. Let's shorten this part. In the 2D pattern, click the point where the armhole line and the side line meet and move the inside of the pattern. The side size of the pattern is reduced by the amount moved. If you cut too much, widen it again and simulate it. Change the 3D garment rendering style on the left side of the 3D window to textured surface, Alt+2, as it seems to be properly adjusted. This time, let's reduce the remaining margin of the armhole line. You can modify the pattern line in the 2D window when you shrink part of the pattern, but this can be tricky. Select the Steam tool in the 2D toolbar. In the case of the armhole line, it will be scaled down so the default shrinkage value is set to -3, and we will click and drag on the 2D pattern to draw the area. In the case of the Steam brush function, the simulation can be reflected in real time with the simulation turned on and brushed. If you want to delete the created area, you can delete it from the pop-up menu by right-clicking on the created area with the Steam tool. This completes the basic silhouette of the dress. This time, I'll use a dart to transform the dress to a tighter waist. Select the Edit Pattern tool from the 2D toolbar and select the waist points of the front and back patterns with the Shift key. Move the point inside the pattern, then press the Shift key to move it horizontally. At this time, if you right-click the mouse while moving distance input window will appear. If you enter too large a value, the waist may be bent, so enter 30 mm and press OK. The point has moved by that number. Check fit by simulating. Before we make a dart, let's take a look at the roll of the dart. Select the Tack tool from the 3D toolbar. Click on a large waist in the 3D outfit to create a tack. Create one tack per body plate pattern. Simulate. The garment will be reduced by the amount of tack and will fit the avatar's body. If you delete the area from the 2D pattern as much as the tack, the tight close will be created. The dart will create an area that will be reduced by the amount of the tack. Press and hold the inner shape tool group on the 2D toolbar to display the dart tool in the sub-tool group. The pattern of the 2D window shows the start and end points of the tack. Create a dart by dragging the dart based on the length of the line. In the 2D window, select the dart with the Transform Pattern tool and move the center of the dart to the waistline of the garment. The widest part of the dart should be placed on the waistline, reducing the most on the garment. Use the Edit Pattern tool to modify the top of the dart a little below the avatar's apex. The endpoint of the dart moves to the position of the avatar's pelvis. Create darts on the back panel pattern. When positioning the end of the dart, place it 1 to 2 centimeters below the most protruding part of the body. When the dart generation is completed, sew the opposing segments of the dart with the segment sewing tool. Select the Edit Tag tool from the 3D toolbar and press Ctrl+A to select all the created tags. Press Delete to delete the selected tags. The protruding part of the tip of the dart, or the drooping part of the hip, can be reduced by using the Steam tool on the 2D toolbar. Let's change the color and type of the fabric. If you want to turn off the baseline or internal line view in the 3D window, you can turn off the menu in the 3D garment display. Hide menu on the left side of the 3D window. You can also see and turn off seam lines at that location. You can turn on and off various background view menus when checking clothes. 3D Shadow, 3D Grid menu can be viewed and turned off in the Environment Display menu on the left side of the 3D window. You can also change the background color if the outfit doesn't look right because of the 3D background. Right-click on the 3D window background and select the Formal 3D Background menu. In the Format Background pop-up window, choose the Solid Fill menu and click on the color thumbnail to set the desired color. To go back to the original background, select the Picture or Texture Fill menu in the Format Background pop-up window. We've finished making the garment. Now it is time to organize the UVs. You can switch to other mode by clicking Mode Select button on the upper right. Select UV Editor mode. Because the color is dark on the fabric, it is hard to see. So after selecting the entire fabric, we will reset it by right-clicking. Right-click in the background of the UV Editor window and choose Fit UV to Unified 0 to 1. The entire UVs will be set between 0 and 1. There are two options in the Fit to Unified option: Tile Padding option menu, absolute length millimeters, and relative UV coordinate 0 to 1. By default, the entire pattern is centered. Absolute length millimeters is the distance from the outside of the entire pattern selection to a line of 1. Relative UV coordinate 0 to 1 sets the distance outside the area in percentage, when you see a distance from 0 to 1 as 100%. Since the patterns are center aligned, the distance from the center to the center can be entered from 0.01 to 0.49. We will set it to absolute length, millimeters, which is selected by default. Then select, move, rotate, and scale individual UVs to adjust them. If you liked this video, hit the like button below and subscribe for more. If you have any questions about getting started in Marvelous Designer or this lesson, please leave a comment below, and we will do our best to answer your question. If you want more information on and where to get Marvelous Designer, check out our website, forum, and official Discord channel in the link below.